But to back what we was talking about, getting used to like. So I just turned the camera on, so I'm gonna tell y'all what we was talking about. So we were talking about getting over like the fear of being seen, and I was telling them like the things that I was doing in the past, it wasn't as high of a level of what I'm able to produce right now. So I have to understand that, like I was telling you, the things that we are producing now, the world can latch onto.
Right.
So it's like getting used to hundreds of thousands, if not millions, potentially millions of people watching you.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that's like a kind of like a fear. That, because like when I was first doing music and I knew like, I always loved it, but I knew it wasn't that good.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have a problem like sharing it.
Right.
Just because I knew it wasn't necessarily worthy of the exposure that the work that I'm doing now is worthy of.
So you're saying it has the potential now.
Yeah, like this shit right now, like
latched on to.
Yeah, like you heard it, like
right, yeah.
You your shit too. Though it's like this that has the potential to be heard and like received and like felt by millions, to where now is you've gone from this person who is theoretically unknown to the mass amounts of people, to a person now
producing content
that's being viewed and consumed by millions of people. Like that's a lot of pressure, I guess. So it's like, but even I watched the video, the dude probably live on TikTok right now, but I was he talks about fear is only an indicator that you're at the next level. Like he was like, bro, you don't fear. He was like, you don't fear cutting the grass.
Right. That's fact.
He's like, because that's something you mastered, but now that you're at this new level to where you're right at the cusp of stepping into being a higher version of yourself, you're going to be faced with the fear, and you have to overcome that.
If something is new, you're not comfortable with that type of vibration.
Which is why I like doing shit like this, because it allows us to like work through our fears of what it is that we feeling. You know what I'm saying? We human beings, and like we was talking about just overcoming our life experiences. So, but no, I think it's definitely something like we can consciously work through. Like just getting over those fears and overcoming the other shit, you know what I'm saying? Just being too accommodating to the world around us, trying to be people pleasers and shit like that.
No, definitely.
It's
a good thing. It's something that it's noticed, and we notice it, and we got shit like information out there.
Yeah,
they can
teach us.
Yeah,
I talked the video I made yesterday.
It's like it's always crazy because it's always been like, oh my mind. That's why I asked you one night.
Bro,
I wonder why I'm like that. Like why did I do that? Why did I treat old
Why do I have
so
these
much?
traits?
Yeah, and it's like they have the answer.
They have the answer,
you know,
and it allows us to work through the issues, like understanding the circumstances that we grew up in weren't really designed for us to be like. I don't know, like. I don't want to say individuals, but like the masculine portion of it wasn't enforced or reinforced, which then puts us in a space to where we just become accommodating to the world, to anybody, you know, and it's like without really having that confidence in our own thoughts and our own will to do whatever it is that we want to do, but through repeated action, like creating things. I think, like I said, a lot of the shit I just be like talking and rambling about in other videos. But I talked about how like making these albums has helped me build my confidence, because it shows me, like you talked about that, like you've been going through that, like you saying that a lot recently, like you just
noticing a lot of
having that itch to keep going,
changing my mindset of a lot of shit since I've been creating, and it's just confidence, bro. I feel like the fact that I was able to experience something and write it and have the courage to put it out, because people don't realize how vulnerable music really is. Like that's like a vulnerable.
It's very vulnerable,
bro. Especially when you like singing.
When you sing,
it's different from when you know, everybody rapping. You know, people can just rap bullshit. But singing and like writing a melody and expressing feelings, because I feel like melody and singing is like a feeling that you're like putting out. So,
and then of being vulnerable with your voice. Like, because like everybody's a critic of like singing, so it's like to be vulnerable with your voice.
It's crazy, and I'm like out now.
Yeah.
Like, damn, niggas been wanting to make music for a long time, and it took so long for the courage to build up. And I feel like that goes back to just having the confidence of like, you know, people like just not fathers being absent, but I be wondering like if it's shit that if a father being present would have shown me something to where I would have built the confidence to make music sooner.
It absolutely would have. I think I look at, because you know my dad passed when I was 15, so I look at the trajectory of my life and I always think about where I would have been had he been alive, and then I look at how him like leaving impacted me. So it's like, bro, like when I was a kid, I was always a dog. Like niggas knew me out at basketball, but it's like I remember they called me in the room my freshman year of like high school after the Kennedy versus Truman game, and they were basically telling me they're about to move me up and they're prepping me to basically take over the program. But then not having my dad around, and I used to really get kind of irritated because I didn't understand. I was just becoming a teenager. And becoming, you know what I'm saying, testosterone boom and all this type of shit. So he used to always be present at the practices, and I kind of just like wanted my space. But I didn't realize how much that presence and that reinforcement of me doing what it is that I wanted to do gave me so much confidence and so much freedom to just say fuck it. Like I noticed that in a lot of people that grew up with fathers, they have a fuck itness about them because it's like they're already receiving the balance. Let's say if you grew up in a 2-parent household, and you have a father and a mother, you're already receiving the correct balance, especially if your father is a strong figure. You're already getting the things that you're...
energy and the feminine energy.
And that masculinity and that structure and that discipline and that belief in self is being reinforced by the father figure, because like fathers don't... Like a strong father figure, he really don't give a fuck. Like my dad really didn't give a fuck, and not didn't give a fuck in terms of like give a fuck about me, but he didn't give a fuck about the outside world. Like he didn't care about being at my games, like yelling, like telling me like you know what I'm saying, encouraging me, like or like letting me know when I'm fucking up, like keeping me in line, keeping me on track. But like women don't necessarily.
He didn't care about that.
He didn't care about that. Like he didn't care about like how other people perceived him doing it. All he cared about was pushing me. You know what I'm saying? As his son, like he didn't give a fuck. Like so he used to be at the games yelling all type of shit, like not tearing me down, but like keeping me in line, or like if I did something good, let me know I did something good.
Right.
So it's like having that balance. And then after the game, I remember after every game, we used to sit in the car and we used to talk about the game. So that just gave me like, my freshman year, I was miles ahead of like everybody, bro. They moved me up. I was miles ahead of niggas on JV. I was supposed to start on varsity my sophomore year of high school, but then like with him dying, it took away my confidence. Because there was no masculine presence. Mind you, my mom is dealing with her anger. So she's taking her anger out on me, not even understanding what she's doing. And it's like, it's chipping away at my masculinity. So now I'm becoming this person to where I'm just pleasing. And then now I'm so...
now you in a shell.
I'm shell, and I've become like a shell of myself. And now I'm just tiptoeing around things. And that goes back to what they were saying about tiptoeing around the world and not expressing your needs in regards to anything, like whatever it is you got going on, your job, your spiritual, whatever it is. Like we talked about, like with women and shit, like not like the story you were saying. It's like you didn't understand how to go about it because that masculine reinforcement that you should have had wasn't there. So you was just
and the experience too,
exactly
like the lack of like what I was saying. I ain't never really dealt with somebody that I really didn't know that much. So it's like getting into like that I guess the generation of like, I guess hookup culture. It's just like,
it's kind of unfamiliar.
I ain't know. I really, cause honestly I didn't really know I didn't really know her. So it's like, how am I supposed to know what you comfortable with and like how to approach it and shit like that? But I mean, it was a lesson learned. That shit was like, I feel like that we wouldn't be talking about it as much if I ain't, didn't go through that.
Yeah, facts. It's definitely an experience you needed to have, just so like, there's gonna be plenty more. Like,
right. No, definitely.
Especially now, like the more niggas get in what they doing.
Niggas never trip.
Never tripping. Plenty more. But no, I think even like doing this, I say this in like all of my videos, but like this shit right here helped me build a lot of confidence. I've noticed, if you watch the first video I did on this channel,
like just talking to the camera.
Talking to the camera. Like, cause not only we talking to an audience of people that gonna resonate with this. We're not the only ones experiencing this shit.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? We're not the only young black men that grew up in broken homes. That's damn near the norm. I just finished that book I was telling you about.
I need to buy that.
That's one of the ones.
Tap in with that.
But yeah, bro, people can resonate with shit like this, and we really we documenting our lives. I was telling Devon yesterday about. I watched the Jamie Foxx special yesterday. He just dropped a new comedy special.
Oh, okay.
Talking about like him coming back from having a stroke and all the illness he was suffering from.
Oh damn, I didn't even know you did.
Yeah, that nigga Danner died.
Damn, this is recent.
It's last year. Nigga Danner was died. They was talking about he had cloned and all this type shit. But I was thinking about him, people like him. Even bro, Jamie Foxx is like one of the most talented people in the world. Period.
Facts,
entertainment
for sure.
But I was just thinking about how much he documented himself. How much like guys like Martin Lawrence and the Wayans Bros and Will Smith have documented themselves over time, not only for themselves but for young people like us and older people as well to be inspired by. So in doing shit like this, like I'm putting this on my YouTube. So not only like regardless if anybody sees it, bro, we have documentation of like our minds and the things that niggas have experienced. And I feel that what really got me into this is understanding that there are so many gaps. And understanding that as black people, really thinking about like my family, there isn't a lot of documentation in terms of information being available for me to understand who I come from.
To help you, they can guide you.
That can guide me.
Yeah.
Whether they're speaking to me directly or if there's a story that's being told that I can kind of piece together and kind of model my life after and give me a little bit more confidence. I think about it like niggas who come from very established legacies and lineages, they move with a different air of confidence about themselves. Like their last name holds weight. You ever see those movies where it's like, oh, he's one of the Johnsons or the Cambridge, the shit like that. Like they move with like different esteem about themselves. And young men like us not really having that, we have to establish it. Which is why I feel like we'd be going through some of the shit we'd be going through. Just because we have to learn in the process of doing it. Like Tupac talked about that. He was like, I have to build it. Like there's nothing for me.
Learning how to become
a man. Like we're trying to become men without guidance of what a man is. So now we're forced to look at different examples and seek out information like we was just watching. Which it's a blessing that shit like that is available. But I feel like the same way we've been inspired by information like that, we have to do our part to give our unique perspective to people who may need it, that can resonate with us but may not necessarily resonate or understand the language that he's presenting, or just or you know what I'm saying, they may not like it. You know what I'm saying? But it's as long as we're doing our part and making sure that, because the information is valuable regardless of who's presenting it. We're just at I don't think I would have been listening to bro at 19 just because it's not what I'm into at 19. But if I see somebody like that looks like me, shit, I'm gonna tap in.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all a learning process though.
Yeah, I feel like clarity. It feels good. Clarity, it really does feel good, and it's like it feels right. You know, to hear shit like this or hear something that you've been thinking about, you've been having questions on. It just feels good to know that
you're not
we on the right track, and it's like we getting the right information.
No, niggas definitely on the right track. And then
it's gonna take a little more time.
Based on where we coming from.
Yeah, based on
mentally, you know what I'm saying.
Based on our past, it definitely gonna take more time. But everybody on their own. It's a marathon.
No, definitely. Let me make sure you in focus.
Not gonna lie. Sometimes I was gonna talk about this on my YouTube channel, but I be feeling like damn, like I was 27. You know, I'm 27. I'm just now dropping my music, and it's like one of my loctician had asked me like, what you think it was that took so long? And I was like, I thought about it, and then I feel like the only answer I could give him was like the trauma of like, you know, where I came from, and it's like no one was like, I didn't come from a music background. I could have, you know, my dad was a musician, but you know he was in a whole other state. So like my mom wasn't no musician or nothing, and then it's like me coming from that religious background, it's like I was put away from like I couldn't listen to secular music. So it was like that alone now that I'm doing secular music, it's like I'm realizing that that's a part of me, like music in general. So that goes to show that like our parents really don't know. Like our parents don't know.
What you mean?
Like,
I feel you, but I want to know what you mean.
Like as far as like she didn't know what she was doing by keeping that away from me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's like some like being in that religious realm. It could have been, it was put me in a shell or like put me away from myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what religion does. I feel like that's why I kind of like grew to not be involved too much in religion now, because it's like
it kind of made you like rebel based on your experiences.
Honestly, I feel like I found myself more so than rebel, because I feel like I'm me now. It's like, you know, I don't think I was. You know, I wasn't nowhere near like into the shit I'm into now. You know, like I'm getting tattoos and shit, and like, but I feel like me. Like I feel
you
like
find your identity.
Yeah, like
they talked about that, like not having a sense of like identity because you're so used to pleasing.
Yeah.
Like the environment around you, whether they be your parents or like the people in the church, it's like they have a construct of who you should be. But the whole time you knowing that's not who you are. But it's like you get into the world now, and I could definitely see it because I have a similar experience, like getting away from certain spaces and certain environments and giving myself the opportunity to really explore who it is that I am as a person in my interests. That was one of the beautiful parts about college, which is why I felt like I just became more courageous, like because I was able to get away from my mom's crib and be on my own and think for myself. Whether I'm making mistakes or not, I'm figuring things out on my own, because you could tell a motherfucker something over and over and over again, but one, if they're not seeing you actually do it, they're not as inclined to learn from it. And then some people are just stubborn. Like I have some stubborn ways about myself to where I feel that I just have to learn things on my own sometimes. But yeah, like it definitely like is a buildup of courage and coming into your own identity, like coming into who it is that you want to be as a person, how you want to express yourself, and just who that is. Like a lot of people don't even know who they are.
I feel like it took me till I was like 25, 26
to
be like, oh damn, like, you know,
to gain a sense of self.
It's true. Like you definitely try to fit in, like it's like you, like what you were saying, like you kind of mold into what your surroundings, to what people want you to be. And I feel like that's what I was doing for a long time, bro. Like I was just trying to not have any
conflict.
Yeah, like
confrontation.
No conflict. Yeah. So it's like
they say that a lot too about it, just like avoiding confrontation. That's like a sign of
too nice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You're not really expressing yourself. And going back to bro we was talking about earlier, like he got his ways, but he never avoided like confrontation. In a weird way, it feel like he kind of like sought it out, just to like affirm whatever it is that he's going through. Like that'd be a really interesting conversation too, like for us to have with him, cause like why, you know what I'm saying? I be wanting to know like why, like what goes on in people's minds,
like why he be going for
like why he be going like full throttle, all that.
The issue.
Yeah. But like in both good and bad ways, like why? But I don't know. It's interesting, bro. Like at the end of the day, we just trying to seek understanding to this shit and use different experiences, both our own and other people's, to understand ourselves deeper. Because I feel like having that conversation with him or like anybody else, or even me and you having a conversation, it leads us to understanding things about ourselves, and it offers a different perspective. Like me and Davon was talking about it the other day, but not keeping things in your own mind too long, because the more you keep them in your own mind, the more you're liable to draw up different conclusions that may not necessarily be accurate. Like I've had to check myself, which is one of the cons of like living alone. I'm not gonna lie, like I see how people damn near can go into like psychosis or become crazy living alone and being isolated, because since I've been living alone like 2 years,
they in their thoughts too long.
Yeah, you in your thoughts too long. So it's like that's why I was telling you a couple weeks ago, like I want to start getting out and being more social. Like I love having my own space, but it would be dope if we all had like a crib and like could live together. Like as we continue to establish our minds as young men and become as they become more solidified into manhood, so that way when we get to like manhood and get to that point where we start having children, establishing families for ourselves, we have a more concrete understanding of how to be a man. Like you can't really become a man if you're not around men, bro. And that's why like I be so on niggas about like we need to work out together, we need to go out together, because I look at the same way I look at how I was like with and without my dad being around. I look at how I was with and without living with like other dudes. Like when I was in college, it was me, Greg, Chuck, and Darian. So I'm around like my niggas all the time. So it's like was that me you talking? No, I forgot who that was I was talking about. But like there's like a competitiveness that exists amongst you. And it's like an unspoken thing, but it's not to the point where we're competing with each other, but it's more like so you want to live up to the standard of the people that are around you. So
it's like motivating in a way.
It's motivating. You want to like, I was talking to Brendan about it. Like he was talking about he want to work out with us because he feels like he fell off, and I was telling him Brendan Williams.
I think I know who that is.
I think you know Brendan.
Yeah, Brendan.
But I was telling him the reason I started hitting the gym crazy was because of you and Tarab. Like I was in the gym, I was in the gym already, but it's like when I seen y'all physiques, I worked out with Rod one day, and that nigga came out looking big as hell.
That nigga look octagon ready. Yeah,
I'm like,
damn.
Like
he can hop in the octagon.
Then that one day where me, you, Davon, and Greg worked out, I'm like, this nigga Alton shredded. I'm like, oh shit, let me get right in my bag. And I've been like tripping ever since. Like ever since that day, I've been like doubling up, just because it's like I'm not competing with y'all, but I can see that the niggas I fuck with the most are operating at a high level, that to where I can go to the gym every day and maintain a certain level of consistency. But if I'm not pushing myself, like how I was telling you about pushing ourselves, like, and it's like I'm not any less strong. It's just that I'm not where I want to be in terms of like the aesthetic of my own body. So it's like when I have people around me that I see are operating up here, and I may be operating up here, it just shows me that shit. Let me go here.
Yeah, like I can get there.
I can get there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm not hating on niggas at all, because I'm calling niggas like trying to get in, because it's like I know being around niggas that got that sharp mindset is gonna like take me to the next level, which is why I do have a bit of a temper in terms of like when niggas don't operate up. Like, because just me also being an only child, I like to just do things within my own world, but I also like to make things as best as I can. And I'm very like adaptable. So it's like, nigga, you say we doing this, like if we worked out and you like, I've never quit on a workout with Tarab. And that nigga be doing crazy shit.
It should be wild.
Should be crazy, but I've never quit, and I pride myself on that because I like to be adaptable and measure up to the niggas around me that are operating higher. Like the same way, like I've, like with my content, he's told me that it kind of helped him with his shit. But he saw me operating at a level. Now he can go here. So now as he continues to rise, or you continue to rise in what you're doing, you'll surpass me, as you should. Because
so
nigga,
it's like what you supposed to see as motivating is like on a closer perspective, it's like closer because like he know you. So like he's seeing where he want to be. But the fact that it's so close is even that much more motivating. Because like this my guy, this my homie. And it's like he doing this, but I can do this. We we in the same circle.
And then even with that though, some niggas are hate. So it's like you got to be picky and choosy about the people you hang around, because like
we talk about this a lot. You know, I experienced that firsthand.
Yeah, definitely
firsthand.
So it's like I could have looked at y'all and be like, I could have been like, fuck them niggas. But why though?
Right.
That's not gonna help me.
Niggas look at you and question what you're doing instead of like looking at like how you doing it.
Yeah, like bro, like, because I feel like niggas have low self-esteem, and that also plays into what we're talking about. But I don't think you and I per se have low self-esteem. I think it's just a lack of courage in one's own identity, being that we've had to develop it later on in life.
Definitely.
I don't think it's a lack of belief in self. Because if it was a lack of belief, niggas wouldn't do the work at all.
Yeah, we wouldn't do it.
It's just like, okay, like putting it out there and being comfortable with that identity, or just being comfortable with who we are.
So long you've been told something else. Or so long you just had to be in a shell of yourself to where it just go take time
to fill your cup.
It, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I feel like I look at it as like just like when you said like to fill your cup. We've been pouring this everybody else's cup when our shit not filled. Mm-hmm. And only time you should be, your cup should be overflowing to where you shouldn't have to tilt your cup at all. It should just be overflowing to where it's able to spill out in everybody else's cup.
Mm-hmm. That's facts.
So no, that's we getting this shit though, bro. Like everything take time. I'm starting to be patient with myself and realize that like how I came up in the past is what go help us. Mm-hmm. That's what's go, like what we experience is what's go help us master who we supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So it's like the trial and error and the confrontation and all the second guessing ourselves and shit like that is supposed to be there. That's the emotion and feeling that's supposed to help us to be able to master and hone that type of that type of feeling.
Who we are,
yeah, and
who we becoming.
So that's.
I feel like it'll get to a point.
I get excited about shit like that. Like I just be like, they're like knowing that I'm learning and knowing I'm around the right people. That's like, then we on the same. We literally going through the same thing.
Yeah, same shit at the same time.
Like when I was telling you about the girls and shit, like you are like, it's crazy that you experience that and you understand. When I be like talking to you about it, you be like, you be understanding, you be having like the right shit to say, and you be like, damn. Because
niggas have went through that, and it's like that lesson has been like learned, but it's like it's an essential lesson in manhood. Understanding like, yeah, bro, I kind of like fucked up right there. I could have played that way better, right. And I could have like made better of the situation. But it just come with experience, bro. I feel like ultimately all these experiences are just a part of the story, a part of the journey, and it's gonna be something that we can laugh about. Definitely. At a time. Like even going to work our jobs, like it'll get to a point where we be like, damn, bro, we used to work 8 hours. We used to get these niggas 8 hours of our day.
8 hours of our day.
Like what?
For a slug.
For a
dub.
A dub. Like what? Come on, now. That's crazy. But no, I fuck with this, like doing shit like this.
Yeah.
It's like,
definitely
it's like
the more I live too, the more I realize divine timing. I feel like God's timing is like so perfect.
It's perfect.
The fact that we known each other damn near our whole
entire life damn near.
And then it's like when we merge at this point of time to where like I'm actually, like I'm actually doing the music and shit, and I've always been doing the music, but it's not on the type of it haven't been no recording type shit. Like I'm recording and shit now. Like I'm just. You're
a recording artist now. Right, we're both recording artists now. Like niggas got albums, EP. You know what I'm saying? It's different now, bro. It's like niggas are into the process. Niggas are smarter now. Like I always tell myself, I wouldn't have wanted. As much as I thought I wanted what I wanted at 19, 20, I wouldn't have been ready for it. I would not have been ready for it because the identity of self wasn't there. The confidence and like the ability of just knowing who I am as a person and having the courage. Like I fucked around with said something, got me canceled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, or like definitely, or just like being around somebody that could have been like them type of people that just try to
take advantage of you.
Not even that.
Be a detriment.
People would put on a persona to try to will you in to what their situation.
Facts.
And it's like niggas wouldn't have had the knowledge to to know
decipher that.
To spot that.
Pass me that piece, man.
If they wasn't if they ain't experienced that, you feel me? Like I feel like from the time that I had when I wanted to record and I had the vocal nodules, when I had that situation with my vocals, I feel like during that whole time is when I started to actually I realized that probably was to show me more about people.
How so?
And just understanding how like the world rotates, just how people are, how people move. Like I've been hanging with a lot of different people, and it's like and work with a lot of different people. Like you just being in the work field in like the food industry and shit like that. It's just
so it's giving you insight into like human nature.
And I won't say I was too sheltered to where I wasn't around a lot of people in high school and shit like that, but it was like I was limited to people I was around. I was only able to be around like church going people.
Yeah.
Feel me? So
you didn't have like a real idea of the real world.
Yeah. And it's like now that I'm seeing it.
You learning.
Yeah, it's like I'm learning.
That's interesting. That's like a whole different perspective.
And like finding that I realizing that I have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Through, you know.
Yeah. But a wise man knows he knows nothing at all. So it's better to understand that you got more to learn than to think you know it all. Because that's where you get fucked up. And you know what I'm saying, you get done dirty, and then you just, I feel like even that, like having the mindset of I know it all, you setting yourself up for a big letdown, like a major disappointment. Like your arrogance will be humbled like expeditiously, just because there's so much information, there are so many different pockets and niches of people and experiences and just life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we got to experience it, like from traveling to talking to different people. You know what I'm saying? Meeting different women of different backgrounds.
I hate the pain in the lesson.
Yeah.
It's like once you learn a lesson, it's like cool, I learned that, but that should be. It kind of hurt. I probably would say my ego. That's probably the best way.
Yeah.
Like realizing how you went out, and it's like, damn, I could
ego.
Did that better, and it's like, like I still like I go back in my past, and I'll be like,
I think I was telling you that about like with girls in general, like realizing you was the thirsty one.
Yeah.
Realizing how thirsty you was at a point in time, like bro, I can't believe I was doing that. Like, oh my god. But you didn't realize it though.
Chills down my spine sometimes when I think about that. Like,
in your mind, you thought you was being like a good guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You just thought you was being a good person. But then you realized you was just being like thirsty and like you was hamming yourself. And then you wonder why she went and did like what she did, or like chose who she chose. But it's like now being, you know what I'm saying, 27 years old and having a better understanding, not only of just how to like deal with women, but that too, but who we are and what's important as a man and the way we should be living our life is naturally going to attract. Like when we went to the club that last week and they was just doing what they was doing. They was choosing like how they was choosing. We wasn't doing nothing like, we wasn't doing nothing. We wasn't going after no attention. We was just vibing. And like it happened. But that takes experience in itself to understand that. But you don't got to do too much. You just really got to like be yourself. We was just dancing to the song.
Right.
And they
sat there and it was like
just like hovering. I'm like, damn, like
y'all gonna come say something or
I first learned that lesson when we went out. Remember we went out for G birthday a couple years ago?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Bro, we went out and I don't know why I was feeling good as hell that day. And I know I had just got me a new fit. That was like one of my first time wearing my Dunks. And the red Dunks, I had one off the Nike app. And I remember I had got like a little drink, a little cranberry vodka or something. And I just remember we was in there like just vibing. Yeah, and then they just was coming. Then, bro, they was just coming like just like looking from like near and far. And then I remember the lady, it was this lady. She was a grown lady. Bro, I went to the bathroom, bro. She pinned me against the wall.
What?
Yeah. Old lady, like not an old lady. She was probably like 30.
And was she ain't saying that. She just pinned you.
Bro,
threw you on the wall.
She was like, she pinned me against the wall and was like, "What's your sign? I want you." And I didn't like. It was smooth. Like I don't remember what I said, but I handled it pretty smooth.
Yeah.
And then I remember she came back out and she was just like on me on the dance floor, trying to like throw it on me, putting her number in my phone, all type of shit. But like I was just vibing.
That's how that shit go though.
I was just vibing. I couldn't. I was so distraught, bro. She was so thick. She was thick as shit. Like when I tell you, she was like, ass was huge. I'm like, oh yeah, grown, like real grown women type. Like she had to have at least like a kid. Like she looked like she had a kid that was a teenager.
She was a grown girl.
Yeah, she was grown. Like this is not no like 30-year-old. Like she was grown. This was grown women.
They be liking young niggas.
But I was like, I got a lot of attention that night, but I wasn't in there trying to get attention.
Right, yeah,
I was literally just having fun, being myself. And what I've noticed about life in general, bro, shit, not only just with women, but like everything is so much easier when you live authentically. And I know that's a term that gets thrown around a lot, like just be authentic, be authentic. But when you really just are fulfilled in yourself and happy, like I remember that night just being real happy. And I was like fulfilled, like my social meter was up. I was kicking it with different people. And as we was just dancing, I was vibing. That's when the music was good and like the club, like the music was like real good. I'm vibing, dancing. And then I just remember I first remember it was like a group of like 4 girls. And they was like trying to make their way to us. It was one of them, she was like dancing for real. So they was like, we watching her and like they're watching us. And they was like just trying, and we end up like mingling with them and kicking it with them. And then the night was just good. And they was choosing. Just off of niggas having fun and not seeking it. That's another thing I learned. Like you can't really seek it out. That's like the whole thing of like the law of attraction and manifestation. It's not about going out and chasing these things. We're not going out and chasing money and being like desperate with it, but just shining your light bright to where things come to you. The things that are interested and attracted to what you have going on, they'll come to you naturally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like what you're saying is really about self-discovery.
Yeah.
And once you discover yourself, it's about mastering.
That's what bro was talking about in that live I was watching. He's talking about it's about self-mastery. He was like, that's the key to it all, is mastering and having a deep understanding of who you are as a person, man or woman. Understanding who you are, and that'll just make your path more fluid, because you won't even allow yourself to be in situations that don't align with what you are. And it's always weird because I know we've talked about it. I can't think of like anything specific, but you know when people, I don't want to say don't belong, but are uncomfortable in the situations like this not you. It's like a girl in a strip club who knows she's not supposed to be there, and like everybody can tell.
Like it's noticeable.
Yeah, like you're not supposed to be here. You're not. This not you. You need to get out of here. This ain't your scene. And that's life in general. If you're not in alignment with who you are, it's gonna show. But if you are in alignment, it's gonna show. It's gonna show either way. So you're better off just being who you are. And then you realize that people don't really give a fuck.
No, they don't.
They don't really give a fuck. As much as you think, as much in our minds is.
You think people care, they really don't care.
They're not that invested for real. They in their own life. I had to realize that everybody living their own unique life. And like my world is the outer perception of my beliefs and, you know what I'm saying, my experiences, but nigga, you got your own world.
Right.
So I can't think that
I think that's how I have to look at the music side of things. It made me feel more comfortable with putting out more music, because it's like at the end of the day, people don't care that much.
They don't care that much.
Got going on, so it's like,
especially if they're not invested.
Right.
Now, but it's good to have it out to where there are people that will be invested. Like if we sent this video that we're doing right now to like 100 people or any amount of people, some people we sent it to wouldn't watch it, but because it wouldn't matter to them. But some people that would watch it, it would mean the world to them, because they would gain so much from it, like just hearing us speak like this. So it's about that. Like
it's about the people.
It's about the people that it matters to. It's not so much about the people. Like I look at this like we still like basically in our hometown. So these people have a perception of us that they aren't necessarily willing to break, because it intrudes on their construct within their mind of what they believe to be possible, what they believe to be possible for you and themselves. But going to different places, I notice bro, I always get way more love out of town.
Yeah, I can see how that. Why do you think that is?
Because people are too familiar with me around here. Like they've known me my whole life. I grew up public school Taylor, like first through 12th grade. So it's like, it also overcoming the shit nigga we talked about, like not understanding who we are due to the lack of that male presence. You know what I'm saying? Niggas tend to become shells again. So now it's like you've always felt that you've had these skills, but you may not have had the courage and confidence to express it. So now when you get to a space where, nigga, this is who I really am, it goes against what these people believe.
With no remorse.
Like when you're unapologetic about who you are, it's like they're not that accepting of that because you don't fit the idea of the world that they've constructed about what's going on. But nigga, when you go to
that's probably why that's what it go back to why it took so long for somebody like me or just any artist to actually open up with their music, because
the environment isn't supporting it. Like had you been around, I feel like, bro, had you came with me to college, you would have been dropped music. You would have, because I feel like had I not went to college, I wouldn't have dropped no music because it wouldn't. The environment isn't supporting me, or maybe I would have, but I would have been trying to rap like everybody else over Detroit type beats. You feel me?
And that go back to being just too trying to be
accommodating.
Being comfortable with your surroundings and not causing any conflict or confrontation. And I got to the point where I knew I was at the age to either you do it or you don't.
You do it or you don't.
Like same thing with the YouTube and all that. Like you gonna have to go.
You have to do something.
You have to realize when time gonna keep going.
Time's gonna keep going, and you're gonna look up and your opportunity is not gonna be there.
And like what you was talking about, how at a certain point, shit start to look corny when you're trying to. You feel me?
Like nigga, you 50, you 40 trying to, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It's not,
but bro, you had your whole life to do that, which is why I be trying to advocate for people to just overcome the fears that they have, so they don't have to face that reality. But I'm sure there are people that have faced that reality that are probably speaking to an audience that can appreciate that, because that is a valid experience. That experience is no less valid than our experience. You know what I'm saying? Because a nigga could look at us like, damn, why y'all niggas wait till y'all 27?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's why I wonder what made my loctician ask me that.
Yeah.
Because when I told him my age, he was like, what you think took so long? And in my head, I'm like, shit, I'm still in my 20s, so it's like I don't think I think I'm right on divine time. I think I learned a lot just through experiencing just being a musician. Like I still play instruments and I played in bands and did shows and stuff. So like I was content with that at the time until I felt like I developed the confidence to
put yourself out there
and stuff like that. So, but it was crazy that me and him we had came together off that, because he was saying that his mom and shit was like kind of verbally abusive to him and stuff like that with his hair product and him wanting to do hair and stuff like that. And he was saying he didn't really open up to it. He really wanted to do till he was 30.
Yeah.
So he was like,
it's a valid experience, bro. It's so many of us going through that, bro. Just due to like our parents and shit. It's just.
But it's like they don't know. They just doing what
they
was
just doing
taught.
What they was taught. Just doing what they was taught, bro.
Imagine how much worse it was when.
I can only imagine like what they was going through, which is why like they just seem so inclined to suppress that individuality out of like their offspring. But then it's also understanding that they're in situations that they're not designed to be in. Like children aren't supposed to be raised in single parent households. That's not what it was designed for. It wasn't like children are supposed to be raised under the tutelage of a mother and father. That way you become balanced as a human being. But our society, primarily like black culture, promotes like single parent households. So you create a generation of broken people who then are going to continue to break things until there comes someone in the lineage that is just like, no, I see what's wrong with this. I compare this to other ways of living and more traditional ways of living, and I can see the differences not only in the experience but in the outcome. And I can see that this is wrong. So I'm going to separate myself and I'm going to make the best attempt I can at doing it the way that is going to produce the best outcome, which is by creating a stable family, not rushing into having children, not rushing into anything, honestly, like making sure you have a full understanding of self and what it is that you are designed to do and what you are capable of doing, given the abilities that you've been blessed with, and your biology. You know what I'm saying, man or woman. But it all comes back to having an understanding of self and what's going to produce the best outcomes, which I feel like they weren't really privy to that information, just because nigga, slavery ain't that old. Like, you know what I'm saying? Niggas have great grandparents that were slaves, you know what I'm saying? Great grandparents that were slaves. Like, slavery ended less than 200 years ago. When you think about the idea of grandparents living to like 80, 90 years old,
they still experience that.
You know what I'm saying? That's that. Think about what their grandparents went through. So it's still fresh, so they still coming off of those teachings. So there is grace to be given right there, but at the same time, not letting their lack of awareness hinder you in being so accommodating to the bullshit that they may not realize.
It's crazy to imagine being in that situation back then, to where it's like, where would you get the information to heal from that? You can't. It's really not even available to you. And it's like most black people wasn't reading. They wasn't telling you to read. No. So like, you was just, you thought that's how it was supposed to be. Or you supposed to, you know, be treated like that, and that's how you. And it just carries on. So I feel like that's the advantage we have, is like we get the information and we get the, you know, we get
on demand.
Yeah, and it's like we have an opportunity to change what has been
taught to us.
Yeah, it's change
the trajectory of our lineage, or you know what I'm saying, our family. Put it in a different direction. I think we run out of time on this bitch. We got 13 minutes left.
You think that's good enough?
Yeah, that's straight. I'm gonna catch y'all later, man. This is my first time like doing something with somebody else on one of these videos. Welcome to my channel. This is the Nick's Journey channel. I thank you all for watching. Damn. I'm Nick Johnson, aka your favorite cuz, or whatever it is that you want to call me. And if I haven't already, I officially welcome you all to the Purple Era. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one.